Britton and Maggie Buchanan, I am so excited to have you here on For Real. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
I'm so stoked. This is so fun for me. This is what I want to say off the top. You two have become very dear to me in a very short amount of time. I'm going to read this so I don't look at your face. That's going to be a problem if I'm already crying 2 seconds into this conversation. So we met at the Oaks and I saw how you loved each other and you were clearly each other's biggest fan. I saw that in real time. And then we went to prison together at San Quentin and that just sealed the deal. So I just want to thank you for being here because you have loved my family really well from afar. Oops, don't cry. And you've prayed for us through the last bit. In fact, you two were on the short list of people I was texting from the hospital. So I think that's probably all I need to say about that, but I just want to thank you and thank you for being here. I wonder if there will be a time when I can say thank you to people who've loved us and not had like the lip tremble.
Yeah, I'm a sympathetic crier, so this is hard.
Okay, that's good. I invite sympathetic tears for sure. It's kind of my hobby now. I'm a hobbyist crier. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't typically look up people as a prerequisite for friendship. And so I didn't know you were famous when I met you. We can talk about that in a second and about your experience dominating The Voice. Britton, that's probably where most people know you from. But first, I want to hear about how you two met. And the reason for that is I think this story tells us a lot about who you are, both as individuals, but also as a couple. So Maggie, you get to start. How did you two meet?
So when I was in college at UNC Chapel Hill, I worked for a kind of startup videography agency. And this kid from my hometown was on TV. I'm about 3 years older than him. So, when you're in college and there's still someone in high school, I'm like, oh yeah, this kid is on The Voice. And he's doing really well.
He looked pretty young too.
He was 17. So I was on our sales team and I thought I was going to make some commission off of him. And I sent him a DM and asked if he wanted to make a music video. And I thought this is going to be great. He's been off TV. We can make a music video. Well, lo and behold, he never responded. So I imagine he was probably getting lots of DMs at the time. And then about 6 months later, he came home and did a hometown show.
Wait a minute. I got to stop you. So is that how we frame this now, Britton? You were getting so many messages at the time. You couldn't talk to me.
I don't think that it's inaccurate. I wouldn't call it inaccurate. I'm also notoriously a terrible communicator to begin with when I have 3 messages to respond to, let alone getting tagged and everything. But yeah.
Okay.
So I had the great decision, as most at some point in your life you do. And I decided that I was going to dye my hair black.
Okay.
So I dyed my hair black.
Okay.
And I went to one of his shows and I had a VIP ticket, courtesy of my cousin. Thank you, Haley. And I met him. And he says that he doesn't remember me. And in my wonderings, I just assume it's because I had black hair and I don't look like I do now.
I can hear so much healthy reframing of this entire event. He ghosted me, but he was busy. Didn't remember me, but I had black hair. This is good. This is the foundation of a healthy marriage.
So then fast forward 3 years and he is living in LA. And I'm in our hometown, Sanford, North Carolina. It was COVID. I moved back in with my parents. I look at my phone and I have an Instagram DM from, lo and behold, Britton Buchanan.
Come on.
3 years late. She kept popping up. I mean, obviously, like with her family's history, just being a kind of a stalwart business boat retailer here in our hometown, and with my history of being a rock star, but being public facing, we kind of like were aware of each other. But she kept popping up on my
You
like
should
people you
suggested
may know
people. Yeah, yeah,
suggested
yeah.
you should like
You
the
should be
whatever
their friend.
meta
Yeah, yeah.
platform is like message this person
Suggested for
and
you.
then marry them.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it happened. That little special, like you might marry this person, message them meta.
Meta. We have Meta to thank for that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Not many things, but we will thank them
yeah.
for that.
Mhm.
So, what turned the tide for you that you decided now? I know I've ignored her for 3 years, but today,
I don't know. I just were, it takes however many days to form a habit, and it was like day after day after day after day. It kept like popping up, and I was like, I feel like maybe tomorrow, if it's still here,
oh, you were
tomorrow,
gambling.
the next,
Okay.
and then the next day, and then however many days later, it was like, okay, you put up or shut up. You've said
That's amazing.
you're gonna do it, and then I found when she tried to, get commission off of me, and I was like, well, this'll, this might work, and it did. It did. Look at us. Well,
It
so far
did.
she hasn't given up on me.
I
No.
think she's in it. So, Maggie, after all of those many false starts on his end, did you make him sweat it out a little bit after that first DM or no?
I did.
Oh, I hope everyone's watching YouTube because we have a devotion
So
here.
there was like 3 days after the initial DM where I like went back and forth. And then there was like a 3-day period where I was like, is he interested in me?
Yeah.
And he kept saying that we had to talk on the phone, but we were still Instagram DMing. And I'm like, well, you're going to need my number if you're going to call me. And he just wouldn't ask for the number. And so finally I said that. And then I was like, okay, I think that he might like me.
That's amazing. Well, good job, guys. Those were a couple speed bumps, but you seem to have recovered well.
Oh yeah.
We did. And when we passed those speed bumps, we went like pedal to the metal.
You did.
And a year later, not even a whole year, 11 months later, we were married.
Oh my gosh. Listen, once you know, you know.
That's true.
It was
I
true.
think
It was
so.
true for you. How soon did you know, Britton? Like after
Pretty-
you met and,
Pretty quickly. I mean, it was like, but well, like you said, once you know, you know. So it's sort of like, it's like you feel it somewhere inside of you where you've like never really felt that before. And so it's sort of like pay attention when flags raise, you're kind of like, that was easy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's get the show on the road. I'm a fan of short engagements, actually, for that same reason. I know, don't send me hate mail. I'm in grief. I say things right now that I'm not super careful about. But when Mark and I finally started dating, 3 weeks after we started dating, I called my mom and said, I'm going to marry this guy. I am a consummate overthinker. So that was extraordinary that I would just know that. And I did. And we had a very short engagement and now have been married 8 million years. So
Wow.
see,
Love
it
that.
all works. Yep.
I remember thinking it wasn't that I knew that I knew that I knew, but I had this feeling of like, if this ended, I don't think I could ever listen to music again.
Okay.
And
That's a
It was a
flag.
pretty, like, I was like, whoa, that's a weird feeling that like, I don't even know if I could listen to what he does without missing him.
Oh, that's very good.
And
that was
it.
knowing that you knew.
That was.
Yeah,
That
for
was
sure.
knowing I
For
knew.
sure. A world without music is a fairly dramatic response
Pretty
to a
sad.
breakup. So you're on the right track, Maggie. Oh, okay. I love this beginning. It's a beautiful beginning. And now you've been married how many years? I can't remember.
It'll be 4 on April 2nd.
Okay. Okay. Happy almost anniversary. Wonderful.
We're getting there.
So here's my question for you. How has the public eye, being in the public eye, affected being married? Not very many people proportionally can identify with that. And I don't think either of you assumed that that would be a part of your marriage necessarily, but it is. So does it affect your marriage? And if so, how?
I kind of feel like we live in our own little world.
Okay.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
Like, we just do what we do and we cheer each other on. And there's so many fun things that I never imagined I would get to do, that I'm so grateful for his career, for opening those doors. I mean, even I don't think I would have ever met you in prison had it not been for his ability to play guitar really well.
What a wonderful sentence.
Yes.
And that's true. I agree.
I am so grateful for that. So in those terms, I think it's dramatically changed my life. But as far as our marriage, I don't know, maybe you have a different perspective.
No, I don't think we're not very private people in the first place. And so I think that definitely, I think
Okay.
to which the degree of your personal privacy exists, that will affect how you then operate when people are paying attention to you.
Yeah.
And I feel like both of us are very comfortable being the people in the room that are just like, we can talk to anybody, we can find anybody,
I've seen that in
any
person.
walk of life or like way of thinking, operating, believing, whatever, we're going to find like common ground and just like be 2 hours later, we're still there in the same conversation. And so I think that just comfortability with people has made that aspect of it really easy. I don't think that because it doesn't really feel like we live a public life, because we're public people.
I have a theory. And I think in large part you two navigate that well because you're the same people all the time. I also have a very weird job that I meet people who are in all sorts of different spots. And I've noticed that the people who are most comfortable with an outward facing life have a really rich and similar inward facing life. So I would guess that if it took a lot of energy for you to put on a different persona or a different outward facing situation, you probably wouldn't answer that question the same way. There seems to be serious continuity, whether you're in prison, in your house, at a boat shop, in LA, wherever you are. On the Gilmore Girls set. Didn't you do that? That just came back to me. Did you do that? Yeah, that's awesome. That's on a bucket list for me. Okay, I have to ask a couple voice questions, okay?
Okay.
Does that make you want to puke? Have you answered all these questions? You don't want to talk about the voice anymore?
No, you know what? The people that act like they don't want to talk about cool things that they've done are lame people.
Thank you for saying that. I'm so glad that's your approach because I feel the same. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. And also,
Hey.
that seems super cool.
We only get to go around this thing once, and it's like if you have fun doing it, you're already winning, and you have fun talking about it. If you did it, it never goes away.
Okay, that's the perfect answer.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, what I want to know is the blind audition. I want to know how that happens because for most of us, I'm old enough that I watched the first round of like American Idol, and I know that was very like, edited and spliced together. But we watched your blind audition when I was prepping for this conversation. My eldest Anna was home for the weekend, and we watched your entire performance, which was really great. And we were watching just like anthropologically watching how Blake Shelton's face and then Adam's face and Alicia Keys' face, and they're fully in the moment, or at least the way it was edited. They are in the moment with you. And I do have to say, Kelly Clarkson, the only one who did not turn around. I'm sure you're over that. You've probably processed that, but I'm not. Anna said out loud, we became so loyal to you in 0.2 seconds. We already were, but the visual, Anna said, well, we all make big mistakes we regret for the rest of our lives. That's her summary. And I agree. So tell me how that feels, because most people do not have that, have any part of that experience. What does it feel like in the moment with the lights and the swivel chairs?
Okay. This is not the one thing that gets on my nerves is like false modesty or fake humility.
Okay.
Because I think as artists, like there's a lot of that, and you can tell this is not that. There's a disclaimer.
Okay, good disclaimer.
I have played the guitar for like almost 20 years.
Okay.
I have played in bars almost every weekend since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
I am much more comfortable with an instrument in my hand than without one.
Okay.
And so the unless it's the national anthem, which is the one thing that you will absolutely get ripped apart online
It's really
if
the
you messed
worst.
up.
Yep.
I don't really get nerves once the song starts.
Okay.
Before it might be an adrenaline rush. That moment was particularly like nerve-wracking, as well as the live shows. The live shows were terrible
Okay.
um because you're live to 15 million people and you don't get any second chances. So the 10, 15 seconds of standing there with the lights down waiting for them to, hear it in your ears, like in five,
You're
four,
on.
all that stuff, my heart was pounding. But then when the music starts, it's just like, I've done this my whole life. I've done this
Okay.
before. And so every round I just was like, well, this was fun. Best of luck, everybody. Maybe we'll see each other again someday. And then by that time, I just had gotten used to like, well, clearly this is not going to happen. Like
Right.
this is not going to happen to me. I'm not going to do this. And so with no expectations and without sort of seeking it out, it's not like I cared that much how
Yeah.
far I went. I just was trying to have fun while I did it. And so,
Well, clearly you're better adjusted than me and Anna because we felt deeply. We had very strong feelings. You were in a much healthier place. As it went on and everything ramps up, you can't say that anymore, right? You can't say, well, maybe I'll make it. Oh, well, I'll go back to what my life was. So did
yeah,
that change the experience for you?
slightly. I mean, there was that sort of like, you don't want to go home because you're having a good time, but I've never really. I don't, okay, as a basketball Laker nerd, competition has its spot in certain areas of life. I don't think that music is one of those things.
Okay.
And so I never felt like, and this performance has to be, we need fireworks and I need to sing really high and like do a
Okay.
little jig and we'll impress the voting audience so
Never saw
I
you do a
can
jig.
beat everybody. That wasn't, so I ended up just wanting to stay because I loved the people that I was there with and
Mm,
was having a good time
hmm
being on TV. But it
hmm
wasn't like I never got competitive. Not to say that people didn't. It was never like mean, but like people got competitive. But I just was like, it's a good time. I don't want to go home. This is fun.
That's amazing.
Don't go back to high school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my
have to get
senior
back.
year.
Oh my gosh, not quite as fun. Or at least
No.
mine senior
No.
year wasn't. You had to head home and meet that girl who owns a boat shop. So you had other
Yep.
things to do. Um, that's a fantastic answer. I do love it that you had your, as Malcolm Gladwell would say, your 10,000 hours. You'd
Yeah.
already done this.
Mm-hmm.
So the bells, the whistles, the swivel chairs, the fancy people, the makeup and the hair. I think the only reason you can sound like you, I'm a big fan of your actual voice. I'm actually
Oh,
real
thank you.
snotty about voices. Ask my family. It's super annoying. And I love your voice. And I think the reason it sounds so much you and not, a quarter,
Mhm.
a quarter step higher because you're so stressed out is because you've done all of those many, many hours. So that tracks for me that that the adrenaline stopped
Yeah.
once you were doing your thing. It's
Yeah.
good.
It's,
Yeah, writers don't like to hear that. Writers would prefer that the first draft is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just doesn't work in any discipline. Your 10,000 hours are really not the beautiful ones, but that's how when you sit down then and do your thing, it doesn't feel so scary.
mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense to me. Maggie, you did not know Britton personally during this show situation. So how often does the voice come up in a given week? I want to know if Britton's like, I can't empty the dishwasher. Voice season 14. Does he use it?
It doesn't come up a ton, but one of my favorite times when it came up was, yes, it had been a while since really anybody had brought it up. And I'm sitting in my office one morning and my cousin texted me and was like, you have to turn on Good Morning America. Britton's on Good Morning America.
What?
And I'm like, no, he's not. He's asleep in the bedroom. But
I'm positive he's not
I'm
there.
positive he's not. And it was when Blake was leaving The Voice, they were doing a montage of all of his greatest moments. And one of them was blocking Adam. And
Wow.
when Britton was doing his blind audition. And so there are cool moments
Wow.
where it comes up like that. But, I would say the 10,000 hours thing more than the voice getting brought up. I think he's at a record for like maybe now we're going on like 30,000 hours.
Yeah.
I thought when we got married, it would be so sweet to put the piano and the music stuff in the kitchen. And I just had this beautiful idea of like, I'm going to cook dinner and he's going to be singing and it's going to be so sweet. And I'm like, there's no door and it's all the time loud. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. But it is loud. It is very loud.
The real excuse is that, and I'm sure that we'll talk about this eventually, but the real excuse has been not the voice, but I can't do this right now because so and so is calling me from whatever correctional institution that has my phone number, and so I have to take this phone call.
That's what it is.
I can do it in 15 minutes. You just have to give me that. It's never, which is so funny because music really never comes up like that for us. Where in life it's normally we don't really talk about it.
Other stuff. Yeah. That's awesome. I love your preconception. There will be candles. He'll have his guitar. He'll sing to me as I stir the pasta sauce. That doesn't happen, huh, guys? Okay.
Nope.
One of my very favorite things about you two together is that you just pour oxygen on each other's wirings and each other's dreams. And maybe that sounds like that's what everyone does. And I am here to tell you they don't. Oftentimes, especially if people have very different dreams or different heartbeats or different passions, it's hard to merge that into one house. And so I would love to hear a little bit about that. Maggie, I know you are passionate about helping young women know who they are. And we talked about that, about your writing, and I can't wait to read your book, Wink, Wink. You know where to find me. And then Britton, you have a distinct passion for prison reform and connecting with inmates in an entire subculture, entire sub-nation that's often forgotten. The three of us talked until the wee hours out on some corner. Do you remember that? I can't remember where we were. I feel
we were
like
in Oakland, on some street corner in Oakland.
Yeah, many do. It was kind of picturesque, I feel, until maybe it wasn't. Something went down. I can't remember about the specifics, but I could have talked with you forever, both of you. I just loved hearing both of your hearts. And I want to know how you two ended up hovering over those things. So I know you've got a lot of life left in front of you. I'm not saying you have to put a stamp on this and this is who you are forever. But Maggie, how did you come to have a particular passion about your life and your heartbeat? And Britton, same question. And I'm asking this in part because there are a lot of folks who are listening in your age group or in your early married stage that are trying to navigate that. How do we remain two individual people and also really encourage each other in those individual pursuits, but come together and be moving in the same direction? So what are your thoughts on that? Maggie, you start.
Yeah, I think I've always loved the quote. I can't remember who said it, but you see further when you're standing on the shoulders of giants. And I can't imagine us not like hoisting each other up to see further. And I think who better than the person that's with you in every moment and knows, the worst parts of me and the best parts of me, to be such a steady foundation for helping me see further and likewise. And that doesn't mean that the load doesn't get heavy every now and then, because it definitely does, for both of us in different seasons. But I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
It's great. Definitely the shoulders. That tells me your posture.
Yeah.
That you're not saying it's your turn for a while and then my turn. You're moving in the same direction at the same speed. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I think we also just value humanity and art and creativity. And we found the person that can be just as crazy, weird, artistic, creative, and deep feeling as the other one. And so we sit in that together. That's been huge.
I think that, and then to the point about like our little niches that we operate in, it's like, I don't know when it's going to come out, but we're shooting this on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
We sure
And so I think like with that backdrop, especially like you said, just reminding young women of who they are and me with the prison stuff, just this idea that like the gospel and Jesus is a very like social thing, that is a very present sort of here and now. We can talk
Mm,
about the later too, but like the here and now is so important, and like
Mhm.
makes it very clear
Mhm.
in Matthew 25 of who Jesus is going to look at you one day and tell you that, like, when you hung out with this person, this person, this person, that person, and this person, you were spending time communing with me. And so I think it falling into that with this idea of
Mhm.
being in prisons and prison reform, that's literal verbatim, but just this idea of
Mhm.
oppressed with Maggie and young women, and the way that women have been subjugated in the American home life and American
Mhm.
church life and
Mhm.
American work life, whatever it might would be,
Mhm.
I think that we're just trying to live out in our own ways, because I think everybody's
Yeah.
called to different areas. The social gospel of like that on in earth, as it is in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven, just trying to
Yeah.
make that earth look a little bit more like heaven every day, which is, we can't do by ourselves.
mm,
So doing it together and alongside of people like you
Yeah.
and Bob and all the other folks we met along the way, I think is
Mhm.
so
mm,
important.
mm. Yeah, that was my next question, I think. Because I'm listening to you talk about these mammoth goals. It is a mammoth goal to help people find freedom, and to point people towards the only one who can give you true freedom. That's a big honkin' Everest. It's not one that we do in one lifetime. And so you answered my wondering as I was listening to you, how do you do such big work when it's so easy to be tired? Those are big, big questions and big, big nebulous answers sometimes on how we get to the clarity. So you just said it, that you're toggling back and forth. You're
Mhm.
talking to each other. Any other ways that you continue in hard work, um, whether it's in your careers or with kind of these vocational callings? How do you keep going? So I'm hoping you both don't have the worst days on the same days, but what helps you move on just a little bit more down the road?
Mhm.
I think being present is so
Mhm.
important. It's
Tell me more.
hilarious to me that you said this wondering thing, and like Maggie and I are starting to teach. Well, we're uh,
Hosting.
hosting a course through our church that this being with sort of thing that Sam Wells kind of came up with. It's all about just like, hey, God's means are God's ends. And
Mm.
the whole
Mm.
point of the story is about just God just wants to be with us. God wanted to be with us so bad that
Mhm.
God showed up and was like, I just
Mhm.
kind of want to hang out for a while. Like, and I think being present in your own life, in your own mind, but
Mhm.
with each other, I think on the phone with like prison reform and helping young women, young girls find identity and purpose, and not even just like worth, like reminding them of their inherent worth when
Mm.
people want
Yeah.
to subjugate them. It's it sounds like a big task until you remember that if you just are where you are and you listen and you stay there, it feels like maybe this mountain is really an anthill,
Mm.
and we
Mhm.
can climb it easily because we're just here with each other. I think that's important.
Yeah. Our pastor shared this story the week after Christmas, and she said her 3-year-old woke up on December 26th and was just devastated. Like, Christmas is over. My life is horrible. Everything I've been working towards the last 3 months is now gone. And
The kid said this. Oh my
that's how
gosh, that's
she was just at,
amazing.
like, I can't believe
Yeah,
it's
all
over.
that and it's
And so
over.
she said, in an effort to try to nurture and encourage her daughter, she said, yeah, but Jesus is here. And the little girl was like, but where? And as she pondered on it, she kind of commissioned our church out with, he's here in the spaces between us. And this idea that being with one another is where we also find Jesus.
Mm.
And so I think on those days where we are tired, even if we're both having a bad day on the same day, and knowing that even when you want to kind of retreat and pull back, you can find Jesus in the space between us. And even if it's not like an overly spiritual conversation, even if it's just being who he created us to be, is so encouraging and revitalizing, and it makes it's that double shot of espresso
Mm-hmm.
that you need to just keep going.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Let's talk about geography, guys. Britton, for your work, most people live in LA or Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you too live in a small town in North Carolina. I looked it up, population 33,000, according
It's
to my
getting
nuns.
bigger. It's deceivingly small.
Listen, I love small, so that's great. But seems to me a very intentional move for the two of you, and a little countercultural. So tell me about how you decided to make home where you are. This is your hometown?
Yeah.
You grew
Well,
up there.
yeah.
Okay.
I lived in LA for 5 years. We still end up subletting for like 2 months out of the year, or I mean, that might be a little liberal or conservative depending on the year. But um, I swore I'd never come back ever,
Oh,
and
you
then
did.
and then I met Boat Girl, and then that made it easy, and I think that um this sounds corny and cheesy, but it is true that uh my home is wherever she is at any given moment, and like I can feel it when I'm on the road in Nashville and she's not there,
Mhm.
and I can feel it when I have to go, do whatever for the next 6 hours, and like we're apart because it's usually just like I just want to call Maggie and tell her this or whatever. You know, she told me the other day that I'm working as a producer on this movie, and she was like, I feel like I'm producing this movie because everything that you have ever done for this movie, you have told me step by step,
That's
detail by
awesome.
painstaking detail, what you've done. And
You're going to
so,
need to be on the credits. Yeah.
but that's just how like we could be wherever, and the only really true intention that I feel is like wherever she is at any given moment is kind of where I want to hang out. We just kind of rock and roll like that.
Now, technically, the geographic location. I
It's a pretty good answer. I mean, good luck. He just said you are home. So
he did. Our Wi-Fi
awesome.
is called "Home is here," and that is a joke that we always have of like wherever we are, home is here.
That's the same password.
Right here.
That's awesome.
So I have pictures on my phone of the house that we live in currently from 2015, 2016, where I had written on it, I'm going to live in this house one day.
What?
Yes. It's on the road that my parents live on, so where I grew up. And it's a little ranch style farmhouse with a lot of land around it. And this house became available the week before we got engaged.
This is not a true story.
It's a true story. That's why I'm like, technically, yes, we are home, but our actual physical home is a really sweet story.
Wow.
So we moved in here, and it's always been my dream to make a little cottage of sorts. And we have a garden, and we live about 5 minutes from my work. And I work with my family. And so that's kind of what's kept us grounded here for now. I work with my dad and my brother and my uncle and my cousin, and we work in the boat industry, and I do a little bit of everything with them. And so I do work in person. So we do have to be not in LA or Nashville for me to go to work. They're very old school. So we do things on paper.
Awesome. Wow. I did not know that about your home. That's a pretty great story. And clearly I needed to start taking different photos. and writing on them. I want
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about, before we wrap up, about the horizon. So you mentioned a movie, Britton, that you're working
Yeah.
on. You're producing your second film, you said. I'm definitely haranguing you to come to where I live to give a concert. I know you guys are creatives, so you are cobbling together a bunch of different things, and I wholly understand that and applaud that. I want to know, when you look at all of the things in front of you, what is making your heart beat a little faster right now? What's on the short term? So this next stretch, maybe for the next year or whatever, and also long term, when you're two old biddies sitting on that porch with matching rockers, what does the horizon look like for you? What's the hope?
Well, my short term is this film that I'm working on. I
Okay,
mean,
talk to us about that.
I grew up as an absolute film
Nerd.
nerd, whether it be
I can see
what
that.
really got me. Well, I mean, when I was 5, I saw Jaws, and that was like,
Wow, you were
thanks, Pops.
it's a little
That was
early
like,
for Jaws.
that was, but it just like, it scared me, and it felt like a roller coaster, like adrenaline rush, and then I just got addicted to it. And so I was like the
Amazing.
scary movie kid for a while, but then it kind of umbrellaed into just like cinema and cinema history as a whole and all that type of stuff. And so that was an interest of mine long before music ever became
Okay.
sort of reality.
Mhm.
I've always loved, oh, I got to watch all the special features on this DVD to see how they did this and how they
Amazing.
shot this. And so this is exciting for me in the sense that um finally sort of transitioning to working in film as well. I've never
Okay.
wanted to be in front of the camera. I've always wanted to make movies, never to
Okay.
be in them. And so this is like so exciting for me.
Are you
And
going to say more? Can we know about this? This is
yeah,
a little
I
bit
mean,
30,000 feet here. I
I
need to know.
I'm limited as to what I can say, but I'm getting the
Okay.
opportunity to work with my family, and that's like pretty exciting for me. And we're doing it locally,
Okay.
um, and it should be a fairly big deal that uh, I think a lot
I'll
of people will end
hear
up knowing
about.
about. So
And
that's
not documentary. This is like full-length feature
Well, we'll
film.
see. It's a
Oh,
full-length feature film. It's not a documentary, but will there's
You're warm.
some hints. You're
okay.
warm, but I'm pretty excited about that, and I'm hoping to get back into the studio to record some music soon. This past year, uh, I lost my frequent collaborator, co-writer, and producer to cancer, and that kind of set, kind of conceptualizing like, how do we do this without Derek? And so I'm hoping to take that step. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, those two things career-wise of just being able to work in film. I also have like a couple of um, scoring projects and screenwriting projects
Oh, I
going
wondered
on
about
at the
that.
same
Okay.
time. And so um a super creative period. So that's the short term. The long term, I always ask her all the time whenever I get anxious. I'm like, me and we're gonna get really old together, right? And she's like, yeah. And then I'm like, how old? And she's always like, as old as the hills, because that's what her grandma used to say. So
Oh, I love it.
we say that all the time whenever I'm like, I need to be grounded. That like,
Yeah.
you know, I look forward to the day when we've done everything we've wanted to do. So now we just get to do what we need to do and just sit around and hang out and be with each other and think about like, you remember that first podcast we did together, or you remember when this or that house and that car, all the memory we're talking about cars all the time. Because she's like, I need to trade my car. But and so it's like thinking about, when you've gone through all your houses and all your cars and all your laughs and all your jokes and your tears and your
Mhm.
good times and bad times, to just like sit around and be like, God, that was fun, right? And so that's my long-term horizon, is just like kicking back.
Yeah, I love that. I'm
Getting
excited.
old as the hills together.
I'm
It sounds
looking
good.
forward to being old as the
Mhm.
hills. So for short term for me, Kim, I feel like you will love this. I've always been a fan of Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh,
I
yes.
think that movie, just the book, the movie, it inspires me. It makes me want to do something with my life. However, I'm not going to leave my precious Britton to go on this journey of self-discovery. And so I turned 29 in September, and I made a 30 under 30 list. So 30 things that I want to do by the time I'm 30. And they're simple things like take a pottery class, all the way to I wanted to jump in the Pacific Ocean, ride a horse, which I'm terrified of horses, see Justin Bieber live, which I'm going to do at Coachella in a couple of months with my best friend.
We've also done that twice, but
I have to do it this
year. Okay,
yes.
good clarifying bit there.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
not your first time, but an important time.
Yeah.
Right,
Got
an
it.
important time. So my short-term plan is to write a collection of essays to kind of bookmark this journey, this experience that, I've always struggled. I've loved to write. I love young women. I love helping young women, but I've always felt like I don't know where I fit between this world of a how-to book versus a memoir versus I love fiction, and fiction is what I read a lot of. And so this feels a little bit like all of it mixed up together.
Yeah.
Here's what I did, here's the lessons that I learned, but also here's for my family of this is a version of me that we get to have. That
I love it.
His is locked in his music and his movies, and mine can be locked in these pages. So that's what I'm working on.
Very good.
Conclusion September 2nd.
Okay.
So that's when
And you'll send me the copy.
I will.
Okay.
I will. I'll send
And if you
you
want to talk
essays
about
as
it
they come.
beforehand, I'm right here with you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And
Okay,
then,
you have a date. I'm writing it down.
Okay, that's my date. That's my 30th birthday.
I'm checking in.
So I'm working on that now. I'm working on being really present and learning all I can from my dad and my uncle. They are incredible and hung the moon in my eyes, and they're such strong leaders and integrity and loyalty and business. And while boats may not be, exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life, for right now, they're teaching me so many invaluable lessons. And so I'm just present there every day and learning with them. And then horizon wise, to veer a little differently from the course, of what Britton shared is we would love to start a family in the next few years, and I think that's something that we get excited dreaming about. And it's kind of when you meet, you get married, you're like, oh, in 5 years. We're like, oh, 5 years. It's here. We're really approaching that time that we said we were going to do this. But just raising little people who have big hearts and who are creative and can take on those character traits of what Jesus said to do, and that we get to do that together. I want to think of it not as us teaching them as much as it is us doing it as a family. And so I think we're really like putting our stakes in the ground now of what that looks like for each of us individually, and together as a couple, but learning how to march forward in that as a family is something that we're hopefully going to do for as old as the hills.
It's a long-term contract once that starts. Yeah. I've found that it's really forever then after that.
Mhm.
So, well, obviously I think you two will be exceptional parents. So that makes me no small amount of happy to think about little Buchanans in the world. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask all of my guests, and it's the book nerd question. So I know you two are both readers and but also consumers of lots of beautiful art, including film. So you can do your own here. Okay. But what is a book or film or other piece of art, I guess, that you recommend over and over and over to people? Sometimes people talk about something that they read long ago and they just can't get rid of it, or it's something that you're looking forward to reading and have a sneaking suspicion you will love it. Either way, you can take your time.
First.
You go first.
Okay. Oh, you're ready.
Oh, I'm scared he's going to take mine.
Oh, that's
then yes, I will. Because if I'm scared, she's going to take me.
It's okay. You can have a joint answer.
So one thing that Britton and I did the first time I ever went to California was we spent a lot of time with some dead people. And he took me to cemetery after cemetery after cemetery. It was a great first week together.
Wait a minute.
Peace and quiet places.
Peace and quiet.
In LA.
Sure. It's hard to find quiet.
We would walk around and go visit famous people's graves.
Yeah.
And
that's was really an unusual first couple of dates, but that fits. Okay.
You lured me in.
On paper though, but when you go to the places that have taken her to, we'll take you there if you want to go.
Okay, great.
Beautiful
I'd love it.
Walk,
artwork, it's beautiful.
Recreations of all of these.
One of them has peacocks.
One of them has peacocks.
Okay.
They also screen films there.
Yes.
At the cemetery.
On the lawn, on the side of a mausoleum, and like 8,000 people go. Mm-hmm. It's a crazy thing.
Wow.
Anyways, point being, it's not as weird as it sounds on.
Okay, I'm ready.
On paper.
I learned through that experience that I really enjoyed going to visit people's resting places who had really done important and meaningful work. And we're all doing important and meaningful work. There's just kind of made it really, really big. And so we did that in LA, and then we went to New York. And so we had to go visit our girl, Joan Didion.
This is amazing. This is my favorite answer to this question of all time. Just keep talking. Yes. Okay, so, Joan Didion in New York, obviously.
Joan Didion is a woman that Britton introduced me to. Oh and Slouching Towards Bethlehem will be the book that I read when I want to remember how to write. And he read it first, and that's why I was scared he was going to take it. But that is the one.
Were you? She knows
the amount of copies of Slouching Towards Bethlehem that we have bought to send people is we both have a copy in our office. Like, it's not a shared book. Like, I have mine and he has his.
Okay, no sharing.
I read it once a year.
Oh my gosh, it's that book for you.
I have for like the last 8 years, but
okay, I have not read that. I have not read.
Don't get it. Book. We'll send it to you.
There's a guy that we both know that writes for the San Quentin News that has been working on his own memoir.
Yes.
From his time in El Salvador and during the Civil War up until now, and he has been stuck for so long, and so I have bought him. He has a copy in his cell in San Quentin.
Amazing.
Like what it would be like to write your story in essay form instead of having to worry about like a chronological chapter 1 and
narrative,
chapter 2 and all this stuff. So that would be the book. Well, now I'll think about a movie since
that's a really great recommendation. I'm super stoked about that. There's a line, Slouching Towards Bethlehem is in a Joni Mitchell song as well. Yep. Do you know this? Yeah.
Yeah. Slouching Towards
every time she sings it.
Yeah.
While he's singing in the movie, I just bought the book, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans.
Okay. My mom loved that book. I haven't read it yet.
It's got a Joan Didion quote in the front. And I was like, okay, cool. Take it to the counter. I'll get it. That's fine.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm trying to think of like a good universal sort of like my favorite movie of all time is a movie called Chinatown, but that is sort of a if you don't love Los Angeles and you don't love Jack Nicholson, maybe you wouldn't love Chinatown.
Okay.
If you're crazy, but my sort of universal like thing, I don't know. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life is always up there for me, and Casablanca.
Classic.
Probably Casablanca. Casablanca is like right under Chinatown, and that's like every time we've seen it in a movie theater. We've seen it at home.
I have not seen Chinatown, so I'm going to have to add that.
Watch Chinatown, and if you haven't seen Casablanca, it's like the most like romantic movie ever. Humphrey Bogart and
100%.
Ingrid Bergman. Beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's so funny. It's a funny movie.
It is very funny. I need to rewatch. It's been a while, so. Oh, you too. Well, this was the absolute joy of my month. I already know it. So thank you so much. Really, thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you two don't typically have to pause in the middle of your day to talk to somebody from Iowa, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.